From downtown, this is Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam, and you're listening to NintenDomain Podcast. Boom shakalaka!
This week on NintenDomain, Nintendo didn't forget about Golden Sun, and did Game Shark announce the release date of Switch 2?
Wait, isn't that the Boulder from Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Gimme, gimme, gimme. Chiptunes.
I couldn't think of an intro thing, so there it is.
Raiders?
Game Shark.
Oh, right.
Welcome to NintenDomain Podcast, episode 405. Your place to hear Nintendo fans talk about Nintendo rumors and other things. We're your hosts. I'm Whack Whack Tree Johnson.
I'm Jeremy Underdark Warrior Mikowski.
I'm John OC Remix Master Knitter.
What's up? All right.
Not much. Just doing a podcast, you know.
Yeah. Well, let's start off our show as we normally do and talk about games that we got and games we've been playing. I'm still working on my opus of the top 10 video, so I haven't played a whole lot of new stuff, but I did get to dabble in some of the demos of the stuff that's coming out this week, which is pretty cool.
So is this your top 10 from the podcast?
This is my top 10, yeah, from like 2 weeks ago that no one will watch once I put it up there. But it's it's my mission, damn it. So we'll see. I don't know. We get a lot of views for our wrestling stuff. If I put like a picture of AEW on there, maybe we'll get a good like 80 viewers or something like that for it.
I'll watch it.
I'll watch it on the big screen.
I've just been capturing all the footage because I kind of ran out of 30-second captures on my Switch, so I didn't capture that many of the ones that were on my top 10 like I normally do. I used to just like take all the 30-second captures and put it on the video like that. But now I'm just playing through them and recording it. Not all of them. I'm trying to limit myself to like an hour per game or less, depending.
Just trying to
on what it is.
Play like a selection and get a good couple clips from it.
Yeah, just play stuff that I want to have on there, that sort of thing. Just kind of jump through it and be like, all right, well, I have this, and this. And I have everything captured for all the games. I just got to put it all together now. So hopefully it should be up for next week. But while I was playing it, I found new wonders in Pikmin 4. And just the more I play that game, the more I realized that it was a great number 2 spot for my top 10 because it's great. There's a lot of shit in it. I've been finding a lot of like more advanced dungeons. Like there's kind of been a recurring theme where you can only bring like one type of Pikmin into each dungeon. But what's cool is they'll be like, oh, you can only bring blue in here, but it's fire dungeon. So like it'll make you bring in the Pikmin that doesn't work with whatever's in there, and you have to figure out ways around it, which is really cool. Like they've done some really cool challenging stuff like that. Yeah, there was like a dungeon that was underwater, so I could only bring blue Pikmin in there because they're the only ones that can submerge. And you get a little note about it from Captain Olimar, who's already been there, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, the blues are useless. I don't know what to do with them." And that's basically the only note you get. And I go down there and I'm like, "Well, shit, everything's red. Like everything's on fire. Like how do I do this? Like I don't have any fire Pokemon. Everybody's gonna get caught on fire or whatever." And then I looked it up blind. I was like, "What are you supposed to do?" And they're like, "Oh no, you're supposed to take your blue ones down there and just figure it out. Just try to do it without." So you have to kind of wait till like the fire's not there to attack them and stuff like that. And you kind of there's ways around it. Like you can kind of strategize how to do it. But it's interesting, like to have like it's basically like sending all your Pokemon that's like weak against whatever into a fight against whatever they're weak against. So it's pretty cool. Like I found some cool stuff like that. I found this one dungeon that has like this big like liquid looking guy. Kind of looks like something out of what was it? The Abyss. Like a water guy from that, if you remember that movie. It's like this big like water guy, and he has like a big giant stone roller, and he basically like just rolls through the floor, and you can't kill him at all. You have to just like avoid him. So you have to just watch where he's at and just kind of work around him, and you'll basically pick up your stuff and you try to carry it to the next thing, and he might be there, and then you got to call your guys back and run away from him. And you basically, he does that through the whole dungeon, like every level. He's basically like the Mr. X of Pikmin. If you remember Mr. X from Resident Evil 3, he's like the guy who shows up and chases you around, but you can't kill him. That sort of thing.
Oh.
He says stars when he chases you.
Does he look kind of like someone from Splatoon?
No, he's
Controller.
like he's like the Heart Boy. He's basically a version of the Heart Boy from Resident Evil 1 remake. You know, the guy with the big heart on his chest. There was I forget what exactly the Tyrant. He's like the Tyrant. He's like a version of the Tyrant. But I think they did it in the Resident Evil 2 remake. Also, they kind of brought a Mr. X back. But yeah, it's just like an unkillable force that you can only like stun. They kind of do that in. There's a house level in Pikmin 4 too where you fight like the evil dog, because there's Ochi and there's also Moss as the evil dog, and you can't kill the evil dog. You can only knock it out. So it'll knock out for a certain time, and it'll recharge, and it'll wake back up and come back and steal your Pikmin away from you, which is annoying as well. But it's kind of like one of those characters, except you can't knock it out at all. It can't be stunned. You just need to avoid it until you get to the very end of the dungeon. And then you get some purple Pikmin, and the purple Pikmin were like this weakness of the monster. So you throw the purple Pikmin at it, and then you can stun it, and then you can kill it at the very end. But it's pretty cool how you have to like avoid this thing through like multiple levels, and then at the very end you finally get to kill it. And I didn't even really know how to do it. I kind of had to look online. I was like, well, what do you do? I was like, well, obviously they just gave me purple Pikmin. I should have known to do that, but I don't know. I dealt with him. He was so annoying before that. But there's just some really, really cool stuff in that game. And like the farther and farther you get into it, the more cool shit you find. And I played like a little bit, like an hour or so of it to capture for the video. But also it's been kind of like my, I want to chill out, I'll throw this on game. And we went to one of Jess's friends for Jess's birthday over the weekend. We went to Caroline's house again, and I played it while I was there, like later at night. So it's a good chill out game, and that's where I found that water guy was there. But yeah, he was really cool, or they were really cool. And and I've just been playing through the other stuff. Vampire Survivors, I went back and captured some of that, and I just forgot how incredibly addictive that one is. And it takes like 30 minutes, to get, if you get like to the end of the level or whatever. And I was just trying to try a bunch of levels with different characters, and there were some characters I had never used before. I unlocked this panda guy. I'd never seen the panda guy before. He has he has like cherry bomb explosives that go off around him. He was one of the. I mean, I have a ton of the people, but I guess I hadn't unlocked him yet. Also, but yeah, there's still stuff to do, and I still did some achievements and whatnot. But yeah, I just basically played through all the regular levels and just try to do different characters with different weapons and, record different stuff like that. And yeah, that game still is super fun and super addictive. I can't wait till they add the story stuff, but they still haven't done yet. I played Fire Emblem for through one chapter, actually through half of a chapter, because the chapter didn't end. It kind of had an ending that I didn't expect. I guess it's sort of spoilery, but I'm not that far into Fire Emblem. It's like 10 hours maybe, but you basically get your rings stolen from you, and then you have to fight without them, which was really interesting. I was like, oh, I want to play this, but I have to go record other stuff, so I can't. So I haven't got to it. But yeah, you fight like this really huge boss, and then they take all your rings from you, so you lose all of your Fire Emblem friends, and they turn them all into bad guys, and then go against you, and you basically have to run out without getting killed, or you have to you basically have to escape the map. You have to go all the way down to the bottom, but fight through people, of course, on the way there. And that's what that's a lot of what Fire Emblem Engage got praised for, was the fact that the maps were much more interesting than the ones in Three Houses, where that one was more based around, stuff like that, where it's the Three Houses are just basically kill everybody and then seize the throne, and that's it. That was pretty much all of the maps. But this one are more like the older ones, where it's hold the base, or get out without, without getting killed. There's different variations, and it's cool to see that on there. I hope to play more of it. But and I made it to 100 hours in AW5 Forever. I'm over 100 hours now in playtime on there.
Wow.
So, hooray. Look at that. No surprise there, I guess.
No. You got every penny worth that you paid for it.
That's true. Well, maybe. I don't know. I bought the DLC, too. No, it's totally worth it. But the big thing, I guess, that I wanted to talk about is I played the Prince of Persia demo. Have either of you tried it at all?
I did.
The
It's
Lost
awesome.
Crown? You played it?
Yep. Yeah,
It's good, right?
yeah, it's really fluid.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Did you make it to the end? I guess it's not that long.
I didn't get to the end.
Okay, I played through it today in one sitting. It took me 40 minutes maybe.
Yep, I played about 20 minutes or so.
It's kind of mean because it basically sets you up you go to a boss, and then you walk right up to the boss, and right when the boss swings at you, it cuts to a video of you fighting a whole bunch of other bosses, and it's like, buy the game, and I'm like, damn it, you should have let me fight the boss at least. So it was kind of mean in that way. It did a little fake out, but it was like
clickbait.
It was edited really well together,
It was enough of a demo to get me. I wouldn't say. I mean, I'm as excited as it was before, which is to say I'm interested in the game. But it was like it gave me a nice flavor of what they're going for, and I think that I'm confident now that the controls really feel fluid, as people have said.
Super fluid,
It feels really, really nice.
Is it like the other? Well, I mean, I would hope it's like the other Prince of Persia games where you're like bouncing and climbing and kind of doing parkour.
I mean, there's not. I guess the one missing thing is you can't rewind time. I guess if you're thinking about like
no sands of
time, you can't do that. But if you die, I died like one time. Like you just really quickly start back from wherever you died by. Like it's pretty quick.
Yeah, it's a blink and you're playing again.
Yeah, and it's really fast. It runs at 60 frames per second on Switch. Like it runs really well. It's been fully optimized for the Switch, which is a big deal. Like it's they actually took their time to make it look good on there. I've seen comparisons. It's really unnoticeable difference between that and the other systems. It runs really well. One of the coolest things about it that I think, and it's such a simple thing, but it should have been in like Metroid or Castlevania like a long ass time ago, is those memory, I forget what they're called. I wrote them down. Hold on.
Yeah, the memory something
shards.
or other.
Yeah, there's these things called memory shards, and they basically allow you to take a snapshot of any place in the map, and when you look on your map, it will show you that picture. So if you get to a part and you see like there's something that's too high that you can't jump to, you can just take a picture, and if you have a double jump, you can look at it and be like, oh, that was where I couldn't jump high enough, or there's where that wall that I couldn't get through. Like it
should be a standard for Metroidvanias. It's fantastic.
It feels like such a brilliant thing that's just a really easy thing where you just press down on the control pad and then you get a picture and then it's in your map at all times and you can delete it. You only have a certain amount, but I think you get more as you go through the game. You get like 20 of them to start off in the demo, but that's just really, really cool to be like, all right, well, now that I have this thing, where did I need to go with that? And you can just take a picture of every dead end that you get to, and it'll show it to you on the map and be like, all right, well, this one, there was like a treasure up there that you couldn't get to. Or over here, there was like there's a wall that you couldn't break. Or, like that. And then you can just look at it and be like, all right, instead of just going to the dead ends and just trying to figure out what they are. Like that was really
great
cool.
too, because a lot of times playing a Metroidvania, you just have this huge map and you don't necessarily remember the details of what was there at those locations. You have a vague idea of, I turned left here and I went right there, or whatever. But you might look at the forest and say, what forest was that? Was that this forest or that forest? Just having a snapshot there onto the map of what you actually saw is really helpful.
Yeah. And it even kind of has a very Metroid thing. It has little like elevators where you go from like one area to another. So it does that same like going down a tube thing that you would see in Metroid, which I saw that and I was like, oh yeah, there we are. So they do that where you transfer one area to another and you hit a little elevator and you go up and down. So I was like, oh, there's some Metroid stuff there. But it got really, really high praise from a friend of the show. Janet did a review of it, comparing it to like Metroid Dread and Ori and the Blind Forest. And a lot of people have been like, saying great things about it. And I was kind of, last week I was sort of like, whatever. But now I'm like super on the boat for it right now. Like, I'm planning on buying it whenever I get paid for the past couple things that I did. So, we'll see when that happens. Hopefully it happens this weekend, but, who knows? But no, I'm definitely on the other side of the fence now. I'm super into getting it because it's fluid as fuck. It even feels like a fighting game, like with the with the dodging and the parrying and you can even do juggles and stuff like that. It kind of even reminded me of Mortal Kombat a little bit, Mortal Kombat 1 even, just with the battle.
Yeah, juggling is fun.
Yeah, so you can do really cool shit, and there's you get these different amulets that you can unlock that'll give you different abilities. Like the one that I was using the one that gave you like an extra combo where you can hit like 5 times instead of 4 times. And there's another dodge where you can like dodge automatically behind the person whenever you hit the dodge button. Like there's different things that you can do, or there's like a one that where you can collect the shards or whatever easier, like the magnet one where it pulls it to you. There's like different stuff like that. Or I got another one that gave me like an extra bit of life, like another thing to make your health bar higher and all that. So yeah, there's different things you can do. It's crazy with the accessibility options from what I heard. Like you can even tweak it to be like, like, oh, this didn't I wasn't able to dodge fast enough, so I'll make the dodge window shorter or longer or whatever. You can even adapt it in that way if you want to get crazy with it. If it doesn't feel right, you can adapt the time that you hit the button to dodge away from the person and all that stuff. There's sliders for everything. It's pretty cool. It's pretty it's pretty awesome that you can do that. You can go that far into it in detail. And even on the difficulties, you can do that too. Whether you want say you want the bosses to hit harder, or you want yourself to lose more life or whatever, you can change all that shit too from the beginning. You can make your own custom difficulty where with sliders, depending on how you want to make the game and all that. It's real. Yeah, I was really impressed. And I just played, like I said, 40 minutes of the demo, but I thought, yeah, it played really, really well. It does the jump off the wall, the spinning off the flagpole, that sort of thing. And yeah, super, super fluid. Normally I don't like playing 2D games with the analog stick instead of the digital pad, but it took me about 2 minutes and I was already all right, this is fun. Yeah. This is great. And then you can hold.
You actually can't play with a digital pad either. It's not an option.
Yeah, you could.
But I don't miss it.
I was saying you can if you have an 8-bit DOE 2.0. You can switch them in the app, But if you want to, but it's it works at analog, you can where you can walk slower if you push it less and all that. So I would think that they would probably not work that well to you in the end if you did it that way. But I totally recommend playing the demo. Unfortunately, it doesn't continue into the game. It just kind of gives you a small section, and it tells you that right up front. It's we're just going to give you a little section of the game just to give you an idea. But it's only, it's less than an hour. It's just, it's nice to just feel how good it feels and all that,
Sounds like it worked on you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that and all the a lot of people have really been blowing it up big time, about how good it is and all that. And I thought I made I was like, I got to play it before the podcast, so I have something new to talk about instead of just talking about the things I've been talking about for 3 weeks. So, but it comes out on Thursday. I'm excited. Whenever I get some extra money, I'll definitely look into it. I started playing the other game that's on there, the other demo.
Another Code.
Yep.
Another Code. Yeah, I played that. This game for our patrons. This game right here.
Trace Memory.
Which I found my DS copy. I don't even think this is mine, actually. I think I borrowed it from somebody and forgot to give it back to him. I don't think I actually bought this game. But it looks much different than the DS game does. And I even watched some videos of it just to remember what the DS one was. The DS was all top down, you could still move around. But this one is all all fully 3D, you move. It's very much a point and click game. But the cool thing about the demo is the demo does carry into the regular game. So if you play the demo for however many hours, if you buy the game, you'll start where you were. So that's always a great thing. I do like that. It's it's $60, but it's coming with 2 games. It's this game and also the one that was released in Japan. It didn't come out here, but they fully redid everything. It's fully voiced. You can change it all to Japanese if you want, which I did. The lip sync is really good on Japanese and all that. It looks great. If you want to, I recommend giving the demo a try just to see how pretty it looks, because it does look really, really good.
I tried it for a few minutes and then I got distracted with something else. I can't really say I played it, but I tried it for 5 or 6 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And it does look pretty. The other thing that I thought was funny about it was this is the second game that we got this week that begins with a boulder obstructing your path. I'm just really again?
Yeah. What else is that?
After Raiders, that boulder got a lot of work, so you gotta admire the hustle.
Was there another game that you played that had a boulder in front of everything?
Yeah, Golden Sun.
Golden Sun, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I haven't played Golden Sun.
The very beginning of Golden Sun, no spoilers because it's the very first scene. The boulder there's this boulder that rips through the town and kills the main character's dad, and then one of the other main characters' entire family, and then other people too. But there's a really harrowing, sad scene to start out an RPG. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played it. I wanted to turn it on just to have it in the background, but if you just turn it on, you just have to start the game. There's no title screen. It's just what's your name, and you type in your name. But the one that's on back here is actually my old Golden Sun game, which I've already started a game on, so it does a demo mode. But
is that through the Wii U or is that through the is that through the Game Boy player?
That is from the Game Boy player. That is the physical copy of Golden Sun back there is what that is.
Hell yeah.
Well, I wanted to see if I still had it, and I did still have it. So Golden Sun 1, never played 2.
That was one of the first games I had for the Game Boy Advance. I think I got that and
Me too.
Tony Hawk 2 at the same time.
I think I got that and Yoshi's Island.
Oh, and Circle of the Moon as well.
For Advance, or for the regular Advance or for the SP, the backlit
the
one,
Advance.
or not the backlit one?
For the regular one.
No, because the
regular one.
the regular one. I think the first two games I got was Circle of the Moon and Tony Hawk 2, probably, which were both weren't great to play on a no light handheld. You had to find the perfect lamp to like put right behind it, or play it in the sun or something like that, and make it look right.
Golden Sun looks great on like stretched up on the big screen. They did a really good job with it, and the style is timeless, I would say.
Yeah.
It
was sort of trying to emulate it was sort of trying to emulate like Final Fantasy and stuff like that, but in a more stylistic way. So it was 3D, but not really. It's just like taking advantage of the multiple like parallax effect or whatever the Game Boy could do with it. Because I guess it was technically 32 bits.
I just remember there were like pretty big sprites in there, and they kind of had like a little like camera movement, like when you would fight, it would kind of like tilt around you to try to make. And there were some pretty cool like super moves that you could do with the Djinns, where you would like drop a meteor from the sky or whatever. And I remember doing like stuff like
summons,
that.
From Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of some of that stuff. I mean, I always like I like RPGs that have big.
I
big
forgot
spells
how
that you do like that.
How old school it is, though. I mean, it's still got random battles, so you don't see the enemies. Like that shit persists.
I was gonna say we could transition to Golden Sun since we're already talking about it. Golden Sun got announced and released in between episodes of last episode and this episode. It just came out. It was one of those things. I don't even know why they do this anymore, where they tell you that it's going to be out on Wednesday, but then it comes out on Tuesday. That seems to be everything. Maybe they mean Japan time and not American time, because they're always like,
right,
this is coming out on this date, and then it comes out the day before. So it's like, okay, because it technically came out yesterday. And it'll normally come around on like 7 or 8. But yeah, it was announced on like Thursday or Friday. Right
I will say
it's
the first time that there's been a game added to the Nintendo Online, like for free, where it was like checking online to make sure you could play. Like it usually only does that with games I've preloaded. I thought that was interesting that it did that.
Oh yeah, it's done that to me a couple times.
It'll do that if you've not
Nintendo
played
Switch Online. Yeah.
If you've not played the app in over 2 weeks or something, then it'll do it. Yeah.
So Kirby was already on there then, right?
Kirby?
Or did Kirby
Kirby
get added
was,
as
yeah.
well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kirby was
I haven't played since Amazing Mirror was added, so it's been a while. Because it was added, like it was like you have new things to play, and that was one of them.
Yeah, I played that one.
And I forgot I had the European and Australian or whatever versions on, and so I was like, holy shit, I missed a ton of games.
Oh yeah. I have that.
I tried to turn that off.
I have that for the 64 one, where it has all the different covers for different things. It makes it kind of more confusing, but whatever.
It does.
I think Golden Sun might be one of the least played Nintendo games that I actually owned a physical cartridge of back at the time of release, because I don't think I ever made it even past the first chapter, or I don't remember seeing anything beyond the town getting destroyed by the boulder. So I don't know. It just didn't appeal to me. Like Jeremy said, random battles and all that. I remember hearing it got great scores back in the day, and I was getting a Game Boy Advance. It's like, all right, I'll ask for this, and I ended up getting the Game Boy Advance for my birthday with Golden Sun and then Yoshi. And so I really didn't ever give it a fair shake. I never give it a try. Maybe I'll give it a try now.
I just remember it getting kind of complicated with the Djinns. Like that's what sort of like turned me off on it, because every time you summon a Djinn, it actually changes your stats completely, like your HP and your MP even and all that stuff, and that was kind of annoying to me. So that was why I didn't make it all the way through, because I didn't realize that it would completely change your characters depending on what you summon and what time. And that was really annoying if you're in a boss and then all of a sudden you have like half the hit points that you did before because you summoned whatever to just get it to do a move. Like it was kind of hard for me to wrap my head around that, and collecting them, there was a lot of them and it was kind of hard to find them all, and I think that's kind of what turned me off of it and why I never finished it. But I did play a good amount of it, and I think I got it when it came out. I remember owning it around whenever I worked at that gas station in Lincoln. For some reason, Golden Sun reminds me of that. Of the old, what was it? It was like the Quick Stop, but it had a different name. It was like similar to that. I forget what it was called. It was called like Fast Mart or something like that. But it was some gas station that I worked at.
So you'd play your Game Boy Advance at the gas station?
No, for some reason I remember Golden Sun around that time, like buying it around that time when I worked there. But you've both played it then? Or you just played it for a second just to make sure it worked?
I played it for a second.
I played it for just to get, basically like John was just saying, I played up through the boulder destroying things.
Just want to make sure it'll turn on, like when you buy a used game and you just put it in your system just to make sure it works. That's like,
I wanted to see what it looked like. And
I just completely forgotten about what the game looked like. Yeah, I wanted to refresh my memory.
I've played it somewhat recently. I think I have it on the Wii U app. And then I'm pretty sure I own it. It's just buried somewhere, but I think I have the actual cartridge as well.
Yeah, I found my first one. I never had the second one. Interesting thing, you can transfer your stuff from one game to another, right, but you have to do it with 2 switches if you want to do it. You can't do it with one switch. Yep. I read that online.
Simulating the link cable somehow?
Exactly. Yeah, you have to. That's the only way you can do it is to simulate the link cable over internet. So you would have to I don't know how you would even do it. Like you would basically have to have 2 different systems with 2 different profiles or something like that and hook them up together online, and then you connect the link between one or the other. Yeah, I read that on during the announcement. It said, or maybe it was in the video even. It said you can do the link, but you need 2 different systems, 2 switches. And I'm like, how the fuck are you supposed to do that? Like, what? I don't know how you would even...
Could I send it to you and then you send it back to me or some shit?
I don't even know. Yeah, how would you... Would it... Yeah, I don't even know how that would fucking work.
Yeah, see, I really wonder sometimes how much these things are just Nintendo copy-pasting files. I think they have a whole library of these things ready to go and boom, copy paste, make work. That seems like something that someone should have put a little bit more work into.
Yeah,
especially we're going to release these 2 games at the same time.
Didn't they do it with the Oracle games? Didn't they make it to where you could just
those are just codes.
Well, I was going to say you can do it for Golden Sun. You can do it without 2 switches. You just do the code instead of the link. I'm saying
there is a code. Okay,
there is a code for Golden Sun as well. And if you want to do the link, you have to have 2 systems to do it, which I don't even know how that would work. You would have to play on 2 separate profiles or whatever. It's really stupid. I think they're just trying to trick you into buying another Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack account or something like that is what it seems like. But it seems kind of predatory there. But,
all for Golden Sun.
Yeah. But people, the Golden Sunners, they love that Golden Sun. So hooray, I guess. But I'm happy it's on there. I don't know if I'll play it anytime soon. I might try it a little bit, but it's like I said, I thought it was pretty complicated at the time when it came out, but I did think it looked really, really pretty, and I thought it looked great, and I liked that you had other abilities that you could do, that Isaac could kind of telekinetically move stuff and stuff like that. That was cool. I remember there were puzzles inside of the dungeons, which was interesting.
Yeah, they have those big ghost hands or whatever they're called. It's psych power. Or
telekinesis.
Yeah.
You can move shit with your mind.
But it shows an actual hand, which is, I remember being very striking at the time.
I remember they ask you a lot of questions also in the game. Even in the first couple minutes, your mom is can we leave now? Do you need other stuff? And you could say no, and she'll be like, no, we still got to go.
We still got to leave, yeah.
There was a guy who's I was running from all the falling boulders, and there was a guy laying there on death's door, and the question was something like, do you think I'm going to make it? And I said, no. And then he just kind of gave up and died. And I wondered, did that make a difference? But I said, yes. Would he have joined my
It does make a difference. If you say you're going to be fine, he'll get up and be like, wait, I'm not even injured. Seriously, he does do that.
Oh, does he?
Really?
Oh, wow.
I didn't know there was a difference in how, what you said to him.
That's funny. He just laid there. He's dead because of me. It's I give him an ounce of hope.
Yeah, look what you've done. You killed that guy. You get to sleep with that now. I just remember, they'd be you'd go to town and they'd be like, are you on adventure? And you'd be like, yes or no. It's if you say no, will the game just end? If you're no, I'm not on an adventure, and then it's just game over.
It just turns into a life sim after that.
Yeah, then you just have to...
Until the boulder kills you. You're always looking over your shoulder for that boulder.
You just have to live there until the boulder comes to get you.
It's like Final Destination Boulder Edition. It's a cool game. I do remember the other thing that even at the time I found a little annoying, but I guess it makes sense, was how much the emotes appear above their heads. It's just like
Oh
constant.
yeah. I did think it was cool, like when you did the different when they asked you stuff, and it would show like him like nodding his head or shaking his head, like for the two different. Like I thought that was interesting that it showed like the facial expressions and stuff, because you miss stuff like that when the sprites are too small and you can't really see, like, I don't know, it doesn't give you as much emotion. I don't think, if you don't see them like reacting to things.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Super Nintendo Final Fantasy games kind of spoiled you on that, but not every game was like that. Where you would see it would just be like a just static face with text or whatever.
I like it was around in other games at the time, but I like to think about Hades when you see the dialogue, it shows like a close up view of their face, and then you can see the different expressions as you like scroll through it.
That's how it should be. I'm happy that Golden Sun's on there, but I'm still kind of mad that none of the F-Zero Game Boy Advance games have made it yet. It's like, I guess, yeah, we got our F-Zero 99, but come on. Where's that maximum velocity at? It was in that same video. It was right next to Golden Sun 1. You said it was coming last year. We didn't get it. What the fuck, guys? We could have just got Golden Sun 1 and maximum velocity. Nobody's going to get through it, like, in a day or whatever. It's a long-ass game, It's going to take some time before they get Golden Sun 1. Mm-hmm. These are like fucking 100-hour RPGs. Just give them one of them and maximum velocity at the same time. That's what I want.
It might actually be fun to go online and find somebody's code and then start 2 off like OP as fuck.
Oh, I'm sure you can find some. I'm sure there's like, I'm sure Oracle's games had that too, right? Where it's like some of them are
probably.
Yeah, like it's like, if you want this, use this one or this one, or there's probably different variations to it where you can kind of stack whatever you need to in there. I could see that happening. But yeah, that's fine for me. You guys can talk whatever you got there. I guess we
cool.
We have I think I put we did get a couple codes from a couple future guests that are coming. I don't know how the embargo works exactly for both of those. I did reach out to one of the guys, and I haven't heard anything back, so we're just not going to talk about it. But
we shouldn't.
But we did get a couple things that I'm very excited to talk about in the future.
Just know that we got some cool stuff coming up.
Yeah.
So yeah, Trey has been playing new games besides.
I did play one new game I had a lot of fun with.
And I played 2.
Yeah, and John played 2. But we'll have a guest next week. Hopefully talk about it.
And then this whole cryptic thing will make sense.
Yeah. I mean, I can mention that the release date, it just said not to talk about specific game parts or whatever. But we can talk about that later when we talk about news or whatever.
Alrighty. Well, can you hear me okay? My headphones just freaked out. Okay.
I can hear you.
Well, I didn't have a whole lot to talk about other than the playing some of Golden Sun, but I finally did boot up Trombone Champ because I haven't played it on Switch yet, even though I owned it for a couple weeks now. And let me tell you what, it's still fun. And I was laughing, and I played it for probably close to an hour, and my wrist was hurting so bad.
You were using the
I was using the tilt, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so
no, I was using my 8-bit Do like Pro controller and just doing this.
Yeah.
And you can like kind of reset it, and you can kind of like just do one hand a little bit, but it's kind of hard with I don't know. It puts a lot of pressure on. And I keep wanting to go for the R2 trigger instead of the R1, and the R1's a lot easier to hit.
Yeah.
But my finger naturally wants to go for the bottom one, and that one's a lot harder to hold down. Like it really starts to fatigue my index after a while, but it was reminding me of how much I would just keep playing Guitar Hero, even though it was like killing my wrists. I would just keep doing it because I was having too much fun. So yeah, I was doing that. I stand by what I said last year, whenever I first talked about 2 years ago, that I wish there was better music in it, but what's in there is funny. Like these are like familiar songs that are kind of built into our cultural consciousness at this point. So, also known as public domain, but yeah, a lot of classical pieces. And I guess what I've thought about it, like someone actually has to record a trombone part for each of those, or at least program some kind of synth line into it or whatever. So that would make sense why they haven't, they probably have to license the song and all this other stuff. And then the game would probably be a lot more expensive or whatever. But I think it'd be cool if they did like a la carte, or like if they did like packs you could buy. I would buy like a $5 pack that had like 4 or 5 new songs in it that were licensed or whatever. But I don't know.
Buy a Nintendo pack. I just need to put that out there every time that I can. Like
Yeah.
Why is there no Nintendo pack of songs?
I mean, Yoshi's Island would be so fun. If you did like touch fuzzy, get dizzy, and you had to like go whoa
Yeah.
during that part, that'd be so cool.
How'd you like the Joy-Con controls?
I only played it with the one type of controls because,
You did
like I
not try
said,
the Joy-Con yet.
I turned it on and I just kept playing,
Okay.
and I didn't change the controls or like mess around with it. I just played it for. What happened was Shauna was working out, so she needed the TV downstairs to like because there's the most room to work out. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go upstairs and play Switch while you do that. You know, I'm not just gonna sit in there and watch her do her routine or whatever.
Is it
So
still?
I came up here.
Is it still Just Dance with weights? Is it still
No,
with leg weights?
She's doing other stuff.
Or has she moved on to other things?
She's got YouTube videos she watches. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really down there. I think it's more like yoga and stretching and squats and stuff. But anyway, while I was up here, that's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to play Trombone Champ. I'm going to turn it up real loud. She didn't say anything about it, but I was really hoping that she would get annoyed or something. But
It is pretty loud. Like when I first got it, I turned it on. I was like, wow, this is loud and I'm terrible at this game. Those are my thoughts.
yeah, I think everybody sounds terrible no matter how good you do.
I think
Like,
it's
'cause
supposed
if you
to
listen,
sound kind of
if you just listen,
Yeah.
exactly, because if you just listen to like the demo tracks as you're choosing them, the trombone sounds a little off. I think it's supposed to.
Yeah.
But also, trombone's not meant to be like a lead instrument. It's just not that kind of. It's usually just not meant to be played like that, as far as I know. I could be wrong though. Don't come at me, trombone players. I'm sorry if you feel like that it's a lead instrument. I mean, I saw Jer play at that. When we saw that show, Trey saw it as well. When Jer got up in the balcony and was playing the trombone down over the audience, that was pretty cool. That was more like a solo though. That wasn't like the lead line of the whole song. Anyway, other than that, I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm fully into this. Like, I already kind of knew it was going to be like analogous to how deeply I got into Elden Ring last year, but that's totally what's happening. And I'm listening to the podcast about it. Same guys doing it. It's called Real Lich Hours. I've probably mentioned it before, but yeah, I'm listening to Real Lich Hours by the Watch Out for Fireballs dudes, and they're way behind me at this point. So that's cool because now I can kind of like hear what I missed, and it's too late to like go back and change it. That's just the way the game is. So it's just kind of interesting to hear. And what's really cool is that for their podcast, they're doing kind of like a lawful good. One character is like doing a lawful good build, and the other person's doing the Dark Urge build, which is basically like literally the darkest, the most evil you could be in the game, and it is represented by a compulsion in you to want to do all the worst possible things, including like kicking puppies and just deviant or just really dark, dastardly things, killing people, maiming them, blacking out and waking up and being surrounded by murdered people and stuff like that.
My sister says it's basically the hard mode.
Yeah. Oh, is your sister playing the Dark Urge?
She tried it before. She says, I don't recommend trying it early on.
Okay. Well, that's cool because I mean, I already see myself playing this again. The difference is in what I'm hearing of people's experiences, just those two guys, but and other people I've talked to. My friend Dan's playing it, and Dan, who's been on the show, he's also playing it. And yeah, we just are having entirely different experiences, and that's really cool. And I'm also just being forced to learn how to play a tactics RPG. Finally, I'm like, whatever, I guess I have to do this because the story's so good and the characters are so good, and it's so open-ended what you can do in it. Like, there's just so many different possibilities of how you can approach any situation, and more so than I would say like a Fire Emblem. You've got, there's just way more things you can do, and then it's kind of a little bit like Final Fantasy VII, where you can like teach everybody everything if you like do it right with scrolls and stuff. So you can kind of like, you can create whatever party you want out of the characters they give you, or you can just leave them on default. For the most part, I'm just leaving them on default. But like, the more I learn about the game systems, the more I want to like start over again and have a different approach. So, but needless to say, I think I'm nearing the end of the first act. As people have been saying, there's like 3 acts in the game, and I actually went ahead and did something I don't think I was supposed to do yet. That was like under leveled for, but I got through it, which tells me that I'm learning how to play the game and I'm understanding it better. So it's really fun. I lose a lot. I find myself ramming my head against the wall a lot with some of the like dungeon puzzles and stuff, because it's easy to get like a thing that happens to me a lot in games is that I'll get somewhere and I'm like, okay, I need to remember this, but then I won't remember how to get there later on when I need to. And like, I'm just like, no, I know I got to this place. And then I start to doubt I ever got there. And it's a whole thing. Another thing with this game is you got to save a lot because you will lose a lot if you don't. And then you'll forget what you did. So like you might miss like a whole section of treasure chests or something. And then 2 hours later, you'll accidentally run to that spot and be like, oh shit, I didn't grab all this stuff already. I thought I did. Well, I died and then I never went back there. Yeah, you got to save a lot. But I'm having a great time and I've got, I got down to this, to I got to the Underdark, which is the depths of, D&D, or, it's not quite purgatory. It's a physical place, but it's like getting close to the first layer of hell. And, it reminds me so much of the depths and Tears of the Kingdom, but obviously this is inspired by actual D&D, so it predates that. But there's a whole ecosystem down there that's just completely different. And I got there like yesterday, and I'm having a blast. Like that's why I said I was Underdark Warrior, because I went down there thinking I was going to be doing one thing, and then I talked to this one character, and now I realized I'm going to be like doing the complete opposite of what I thought. These people I was going to originally help, I actually have to kill because they're very evil. But yeah, that's what I've been doing in Baldur's Gate. I'll keep playing it, and eventually I'm going to want to play some real D&D. I think I'm already thinking about buying my own dice just because I keep seeing that D20 rolling every time I make a decision, and now I want my own D20.
I'd be willing to give it a try again. I did play a bout of real D&D about 2 years ago now. But if you were into it, I might be willing to give it a try with you.
Sure. Actual D&D, yeah.
I find it funny that D&D is like so popular now, because when I was in high school, D&D was like the dumb one of the role playing games. Like it was the super super basic thing, like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Like I played it a couple times, but I thought it was kind of boring.
I think what we're learning more and more is that all the stuff the geeks liked back in the day is popular now.
Yeah, I mean, but it was still like kind of surface level.
Nobody's embarrassed to like cool stuff anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, but it was still like surface level of geekdom or whatever. AD&D was like the Super Mario Brothers or whatever, like versus whatever else. I'm just saying it was surface level, and it wasn't even. I don't know. I didn't really think it was the lore of it or whatever was all that interesting. But I mean, people like Magic the Gathering now too, and I thought that was kind of a boring game. Also,
there's a lot of
novels. It's all kind of like super entry level stuff. But I played D&D a couple times when I was in high school. Our DM was kind of an asshole.
Yeah. So
it was whatever. But I mean, I liked playing.
Was it a high school kid?
Yeah, it was. Of course, it was. We were all in high school. But I liked playing Star Wars role playing more, just because I liked Star Wars better than Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. That sort of thing. And I played other stuff that wasn't D&D. And Jess and I, we played D&D for a second. Like we did like 3 D&D things or whatever with some like theater people or whatnot, and then we just we did it for 3 weeks and then, stopped because it was like, we basically didn't want to do it. They basically didn't want to do it on their days off. And it was what it seems like, because they don't have that much days off working in theater. So it's like, I think they started doing it because they had like 2 days off, but it was also kind of like, I think eventually they just didn't want to sacrifice one of their days off to D&D,
exactly.
So we kind of fell out of it, but whatever.
I'd want to play like on Zoom or something.
It's pretty like starter level role playing games, is what I was saying.
Yeah,
I
would just want to do it online,
other ones,
and then maybe meet up occasionally. But that's what I think would be the best. That way, you don't have to leave your house.
That's probably why a lot of it's gotten more popular now too. Yeah, because you can easily
100%.
Do our role playing stuff over Zoom. You don't have to go. You don't have to go to people's houses.
And there's
anymore.
like a tabletop simulator on Steam. It's supposed to be really good for whatever games you want to play like that. But yeah, I highly recommend you play it more, John. It is a little tedious, like getting used to just how complex everything is, and I'm not there yet. I barely understand anything about this game, but I will say that it gets more fun like the more you play it, because you just do cool stuff. Like I was fighting a boss the other day, and I just shoved him off into a cliff, and they just died, and they were just gone. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't get their drop. But yeah, I still had to fight all their cronies, but like this boss was giving me a lot of trouble. And so like, I was like, what if I lure him over to that edge and just push him? And I totally did. Just killed him.
Nice.
It was cool. It felt like an what was it in Double Dragon when the guy just walks off the edge.
Oh, and yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you could kick him off the edge if you went up to the higher level and then you wait for him
That's
to
what
come
I
up
mean,
the
yeah,
ladder
you
and
kick
then you
him.
kick him off the ladder. I always did that in Double Dragon 1 and like level 2 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always did that because it was if you tried to beat him regularly, it would take forever. It's much better to just kick him off the ladder.
Well, if that's all you got, Jeremy, I'll move on to a couple things I did. So I beat the Complex. Complex is that FMV game.
There you go. So you did beat.
I quote unquote beat it. I watched a movie.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, but you did.
You watched a movie.
But you completed the challenge that I gave you of last week. So there you go. I said beat one of these 20 games that you got, and you beat the Complex.
I beat
there
the
you
Complex.
Go. Hooray!
Yeah,
Good job.
the easiest one.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But
those FMV games pretty much you'll beat it. If,
So it wasn't that complex?
it was not that complex. No.
Well,
But
you'll get a ending, right? There's like multiple endings.
Yes, I got one. I got one of the good endings. I don't think I got the best one. I don't feel like I got the best ending, but I think I got a very good ending. And this game is probably my favorite. It's I like it better than the other one, the Late Shift. Of all the new FMV games that have come out recently, this might be the best one. Although that Uncle Marcus game was pretty cool too. But this one has a good story, and it just feels like a good episode of Black Mirror, which is pretty much every episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah,
there's a lot of comparisons to be made between what that company does. It's one production company. It's called the Wales Interactive. They're in England, and I think they share a lot of DNA with Black Mirror. And I would not be surprised if some of their production people were the same. But it just feels a lot like a really good episode of Black Mirror where you are a researcher at a chemical facility and you get trapped inside the facility. It's like this advanced, super advanced, complex, state of the art kind of place. And you get trapped inside with your former partner and a woman who's infected with your bioweapon that you created. And this woman might be a terrorist. And so all the while there's some terrorists trying to break in to steal the last known sample of this bioweapon because all the other samples have been destroyed and the last known sample is inside this woman. And at the same time, you're in communication with the CEO of the company who's trying to encourage you to kill this woman to extract the last sample. So it's a pretty good setup that has a lot of inherent drama in it, and it's one of those like in TV they call it a bottle episode where it just takes place in tight quarters. So it's something along the lines of like Breaking Bad, The Fly.
Well, I mean it's called the bottle episode because it takes place in one location. Like bottle episodes are basically made to save money, or they originally were, where you don't have to go to multiple places. So they did. I mean, and they did a bunch of bottle episodes that were like called bottle episodes, like in Community and stuff like that. And they've done like they did one and did a couple in the X-Files. But yeah, the idea was you only have a couple characters and you only have one location, so you could save on money and versus within budget and that sort of thing. I think it's where it originally
really works for a game like this. It feels like your choices actually matter. Whereas in the Late Shift, I felt like some of those choices were just kind of random. Although it was a good game, I enjoyed it. This one just feels tighter. It feels like the best version that this company has done so far of an FMV game, and totally worth it. Next time it's on sale, I think I got it for like $6 or something. It's the price of a movie rental on iTunes. So definitely check this one out. It's really good. Oh, the other cool thing about this, I don't remember if this was in Late Shift or not, but when you press the pause button, there's a really useful interface where you can see via percentage what your standing is with all the different characters. And so if I have a poor relationship with somebody, it's going to say 25% or whatever, and like it just helps you to think about what decision you're going to make, who you want to try and win over. And it actually like it was reliably useful in making those decisions and helping me to get to the end that I was aiming to get to. So it made it more like a game and less like a movie, just hitting the pause button and seeing where I stood with all the people in the movie. But the big thing that I did this week was I revisited OC Remix. So
I didn't even know they still existed. I guess I haven't
still exist.
I haven't looked, but I mean, there's still a website and all that. Can you still download like just raw midis and where you have to like cut them apart like yourself and all that?
I don't know about raw midis, but it was MP3 files.
Yeah, I forget what it was like because yeah, OC Remix, for anybody who doesn't know, it was like basically like one of the first places I could go to find like video game music, but most of it was like remixed or like or whatever.
It's all remixed.
You would basically take it, hence the name. You would take like an original song from a video game and redo it. But what was also really interesting is that you could download full soundtracks, and they would show up as a file.
Yes, that's true.
But you had to, but it would show it up as like one file. But you had to use like a specific like software for it, and go through and like cut it at whatever minute you wanted it to cut at, and you would basically create your own like MP3s from that, which was really crazy. So like I made my own like Final Fantasy VI soundtrack like through that, like just by going through and cutting the songs from the specific file. And that was more interesting to me than the remixes, because I just wanted somewhere to find the original video game music and all that,
Yeah, no, now that you mentioned that, that is all still on there. So you can go download just like the raw, NES soundtracks or whatever. But I downloaded back in the day, like 20 years ago, when I first found this thing. And also this was like it was like the first hub for fandom of video game music. It was something I think was instrumental in raising video game music's status in the music world. So this place, back 20 years ago, I downloaded a ton of songs. At a time when it was all, I was still using my portable CD player. No one had MP3. Well, few people had MP3 players at the time. It was like crucial if you're going to make a CD. Like song selection was important, because you want to like put the CD on and be able to like listen to it for an hour straight and just have like real actual good songs on there, nothing skippable.
I feel like we're like some old men here, or old people trying to explain to people like what an album is, or like when it used to be back in my it could only be like 60 minutes, so you had to like have enough songs on there so it had an idea from like the beginning to the end. Like nobody's heard of like an album or whatever. It's basically like that, but yeah, you're making your own album.
What I'm trying to say is that out of I downloaded like 100 songs or whatever. I had those all on my computer, but like when I was making the CDs, like I really wanted to make sure that I was going to be able to throw the CD on it and just have it play. And I'd never want to like take it out and pick another CD, whatever. So I think I did a pretty good job back then of song selection. And so I kind of like fell in love with these albums that I arranged and the CDs. So I basically lost a couple of the CDs over the years. And then when I opened up my CD book recently, like some of them had just degraded, like had holes in them and all that. And to top things off, my iTunes had crashed at some point over the years, and so my whole music catalog was just like gone. And all I had again was my CDs, but there's no drives in computers and no disk drives in computers anymore, so I couldn't even load them up back into iTunes again. Well, finally for Christmas, I asked for a DVD drive for my computer, and I got it. And so I spent the past couple of days just loading up all my old CDs, and I started with what remained of the OC Remix CDs. So 4 of them still worked, and some of them were scratched up pretty bad, and some of them it was just like I could get a sample of what the song was and just get a reminder to myself of like what song I actually downloaded. But the most difficult thing was that back in the day I had not recorded any of the actual metadata, so I didn't know what these songs were called.
Oh yeah, and you probably don't know. Yeah, you don't know the person who did it or whatever. Yeah.
Right, and so I just said, all right, I'm going to go on OC Remix, and I'm going to go search for. I'm going to go see every song before 2005. I think I made the CDs in 2004, so I said I'm going to listen to every song before 2005, and I did.
Wow.
I went on there just one by one, listened to every song. I was like, this one sounds familiar. This one sounds familiar, and then I had. Like I said, those couple of CDs that still worked. I was able to sort of like double check to see, yep, that was that song. And then I worked over like 3 days to find all the songs and then also try to arrange them in the same order that I had them, which was really interesting because those CDs, I played them so much. It was just ingrained in my memory for a lot of them. I would like hear the song end and I would know exactly what song was going to come next. And so I reconstructed these albums. I put them back together, and I got them all ready to go. So I have 5 albums, and I named them all after Jimmy Woods from The Wizard. So I have the Jimmy Woods collection. It's been remastered in HD, and it's 100 songs ready to go.
It makes it sound like he actually wrote them, but he didn't.
I did. I put a lot of other people's hard work into these albums.
He was just inspired. No, I mean, like, the Jimmy Woods collection makes it sound like Jimmy Woods was a musician, but he's not. Did you say Jimmy Woods?
I'm not Jimmy
sure there's
Woods.
been a Jimmy Woods out there that plays.
There actually was. When I put it in Jimmy Woods in iTunes, it popped up with some other guy who was like a jazz musician. It'll like automatically fill your album artwork and stuff. But yeah, I went through and I made sure that everybody had their correct credit given on there. And sometimes I went and re-downloaded the song straight from OC Remix as well. And when you do that, it has all the metadata on it. Yeah, it's all ready to go. So I put it on the drive if you guys want to download it. I think I did a pretty good job putting these songs together.
Hell yeah.
It'd be cool to do a Wart radio or something, so everybody can hear it.
Yeah, we'll do one of those in the future when I'm less behind on everything I'm behind on because of the video. But once I get past the WRT radios, which I'm behind on, then we can do other stuff. So maybe like next month. That's what I'm saying.
Nice.
Maybe next month or the month after we can talk about that.
Yeah, and then aside from all the video game music, I uploaded all of my CDs, so like 180 CDs. It took so long. It took it took a full week basically. That's what I was doing.
That's dedication. All day long. I would just, some of those CDs that I can't find, like if I want to use it for, most of the time I'll just want to use it for a podcast or something. But there are like some whatever vocal CDs with actual bands or whatever that I want to find. And most of the time, if I can't find a CD, I'll just buy it digitally for like $8 or whatever. I won't bother trying to find my CD and put it on the computer or whatever. I'll just buy it through iTunes.
Except for I did
that for a couple albums.
That would have been so expensive though.
Well, yeah.
I had 180 CDs. So it was either like take the time to upload them or just like lose them all, and I didn't want to lose them all. So
thankfully, my somehow my iTunes library has like traveled with me since like 2002 or whenever I first got an iTunes library. I still have the same CDs that I burned. Like all the music that's on my iTunes is pretty much burned from the CDs that I got in early 2000s or whatever. It's all still there somehow. I don't know how how I traveled from one to another. I guess whenever I started getting Mac laptops, I never buy one without a CD drive, by the way. And you can buy ones that aren't Macs that still have CD drives, the ones that are not whatever Mac is. But anyway, whenever I started doing that, I started like putting everything on there. Whenever I got a new laptop, I would move one to another, to another, to another. There was one time where I had kind of an iTunes fiasco where it erased my playlists, which I was pissed about. But it didn't erase the music, it erased the playlist, and I was like, what the fuck, man? So ever since, I've never updated my iTunes. But regardless, I had a similar thing where I had a couple CDs that I made. Like I had NintenDJ Volume 1 and 2, which were all OC Remix music. And those are still on my computer. And I still have the disc. But I think the discs have like eroded, kind of like how yours are, and you can't play them anymore. And I also had a Zelda dance mix that I can't remember what it was called. But it's over there. I can actually find it in the break. It's in my CD wallet. It's still here, like downstairs, with all the stuff in there. But I had a similar thing, but wasn't as epic of a quest as yours was to put it all back together. Because I've kind of been saving it over the years, so it still have, there's still like some songs that still have scratches on them on my iTunes because that was how I imported them or whatever off the CD. So it'll still have a skip at one point, but it's, it's nostalgic, right? It's like how it was before. So, if it really annoys me, like I said, I'll just buy it digitally for like $1 or whatever. And have, because I think I have that one Modest Mouse CD, like the Trucker's Atlas has a skip in it, which sucks because that's like my favorite song ever from them.
I think.
I got a couple of Modest Mouse. Yeah. Does
it actually skip, or are you talking about the weird part of the song where it sounds like a skip?
No, I'm talking about actual skips. I know Trucker's Atlas. I just said it was one of my favorite songs ever. I know how it goes.
Yeah. It's got like a weird, like, artifacting or something weird that happened in the recording process that they just left because they thought it sounded cool. And it happens in Trucker's Atlas towards the end.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they do a lot of effects and stuff, but this one would just like...
They don't know where this sound came from. I watched like a documentary about it.
Well, this one, like, it sounds like it's not supposed to sound. That's what I mean. Not like I'm like, oh, this is, you know, I know what it sounds like. I listened to it a million times.
This kind of like that.
It just won't even start, really. It's just like, like at the beginning, it's just, you know, that sort of thing. But anyway, I just bought a digital version of it, and now I have the complete album. It's just that one song. Same thing, we had there was that one, like, there was that one Rapture song that skipped that we had on the disc. Remember the one would skip, like the third one or something like that?
Uh-huh.
And I think I might have burned your copy because it didn't have a skip on it or something like that, and kind of
I actually have
Frankenstein it together or whatever. But I have it on record now, so you know.
I also do. I have
Yeah.
it on record.
And same with Trucker's Atlas. Jess got me like the multi album of that album.
Oh, cool! You got the vinyl of Lonesome Crowded West.
I did, yeah. The one that's like that has like four discs. Because it's like double layered or whatever. It's like the best version of it.
Modest Mouse record.
Yeah. Jess got that for me. It's pretty awesome. We listened to it on the record player.
R.I.P. to that. It's one of the best drummers in.
Yeah.
rock.
Yeah, I always figured that was why they didn't play that song, because they didn't have the same drummer or whatever.
Well, he left for a little bit, and then he was their drummer again. Like starting, I think on the album after Float On, he came back and he was with them until he passed away.
Oh, he died? No, I didn't even know that. Or no, maybe I did.
He had, Jeremiah Green, I think is his name. He passed away of
I think I did
cancer.
see that. I think I did see that around the time of maybe when I got the record.
And he was not, I mean, he was in his 40s. He's not that old.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I think he was 16 or 17 when they took him on tour for Lonesome Crowded West. And the reason they like had him be in the band, they said, was because he had a van. Because so he could drive. He was the one driving them like on their tour.
Oh, yeah.
And also the drummer.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's still it's a sick drum beat for that song. And that's our Modest Mouse beat for the week.
This has been Mousecast.
Yeah, this is Modest Mouse Domain, episode 1. No, yeah.
Let's float on.
Did you have anything
Let's
else?
Float on into a break.
Yeah. Is it time to float into a break? Let's do that. Unless you had anything else to say about your epic OC Remix quest.
Nope, all good.
All right. We'll have a break and come back and talk about
all right already.
Whatever else.
Hey, you.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, you. Subscribe to our Patreon to hear our bonus shows, which happen every month.
I'm tired.
Tired of all the big corporate podcasts spoon-feeding you the same old video game news on every single show?
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
Then expand!
With NintenDomain Expansion Pack.
It's us talking about old games that were important to us. It's us interviewing people that we meet at conventions. And heck, it's live shows from those same conventions. It's basically everything you could want that NintenDomain ever made.
Here we go! And it's just $1 a month.
That's less than a bad indie on the eShop.
It's $12 a year, which is less than Nintendo Switch Online.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our Patreon and supporting NintenDomain.
Just go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast and hey, Mario, let go. Whoa! He's throwing us back to the show.
So long, Bowser.
Patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast.
Game over.
Anyway, all right, we're back from the break. Let's talk about news and stuff.
News and news. Don't snooze or you miss the news.
I talked a little bit about games that are releasing this week. We have Prince of Persia, whatever it's called. The Lost Crown? Is that what it's called? I keep forgetting the subtitle. The Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown comes out on the 18th for $50. Another code, Recollection, is $60, but you can use the Nintendo voucher for it, and you can get it for $50, which I didn't know, but I know now. It's eligible for a Nintendo voucher. I kind of want to get it just on the sole purpose of that I'd really like them to remake Hotel Dusk, which was done by the same company. And the only reason I got this, I think, was because I played Hotel Dusk, and somebody lent this to me. It was like, try this one, but I never got into it as much as I did that one. And I would love to see that one remade. That was the one where you held it like a book. And it was like you were a detective, and there was a murder in like a room in this hotel, and
Is it related to 999?
I don't think so.
I think it is.
I don't think so. It's different. We've had this conversation before.
It's just the same people.
They're different people. We've had this conversation before. It's probably a similar game type, but it's not.
What about 3 doors, 3 windows?
I don't think it's
3
the same
cars,
people.
whatever it was.
No, we totally had this conversation because I looked it up after you said that it was, and it was not the same people. So different developer, but no, same system, similar game, but no, it's not like that. But anyway, Hotel Dusk was a really, really cool game, and I would like to see it remade. I'm surprised that this game actually got the love that it got. I mean, there must be some sort of a cult following, right? Somewhere for it.
Yeah, those are the Zero Escape games. Look at it.
Yeah, it's a different company though. It's not the same.
The Nonary games.
Yeah, it's different than the people who did this. I know.
That's what they're called on Steam.
But whatever those games are, they didn't make Hotel Dusk. That's all. Those are the only one of these games that I cared about was Hotel Dusk. I played it. I basically played it until I beat it because it was incredibly awesome. They did. They didn't do whatever those other games, but they did do Little King's Story, which was another game that was supposedly really good. I never actually played it, but I heard it was great. But they did, Hotel Dusk Room 215. I knew there was a room in there. But it's like black and white, and it was hand-drawn, and you're like this detective guy, and it's really cool. It looks really, really good. And you played it like a book. So you held your DS like vertically, like that. And it was really, really cool. I remember basically playing it until I beat it. So I beat it over a couple days. But they should release that again. I'd like to see, they should release Little King's Story, because I always wanted to play that game. But it ended up, it was like one of those games like Dokapon Kingdom, where it just was too rare and became really expensive, and I could never pick it up for Wii. So there you go. So yeah, that's coming out. Choo Choo Charles coming out on Thursday too. We talked about that before. I know it's cheap, but yeah, Dead Tomb is an NES point and click game that we may be talking to the developer about. That's coming out on the 19th. That's this Friday for $4.99. It's an 8-bit legit game. Those games are always priced very, very at a very good price. So
yeah, I will be purchasing that one
for $5. Yeah. So I'll definitely check that out. And we already talked about the Golden Sun releases that happened in between. Let's see what else do we got on here. John, you're normally our news person. Why don't you take it away?
So Universal Orlando is rumored that they're getting Pokemon, Zelda, and Luigi's Mansion attractions. Now, I say take this with a grain of salt because I looked into this article and the source article, and neither of them gave any like real legit source or whatever, which is just kind of like hearsay at that point. I mean, that's a pretty logical assumption that those 3 major franchises are going to be added. But I think they didn't really do a good job of saying like, oh, this is some credible source told us, and here's the other things that they did. They didn't say that at all, actually.
Man, Luigi's Mansion would be such a creepy dark ride.
It would be great.
Yeah, it's funny that they put like, it's like all these popular franchises, but I didn't think Luigi's Mansion was that popular. I mean, they keep making them. I would love to see a Luigi's Mansion ride because I love those games, but I wouldn't put them up there with Zelda and Pokemon as far as like sales numbers.
I think that it just makes sense as being a companion to the movie. There was that sequence in the movie. I mean,
sure.
Obviously, I think that was in the designs that they do some Luigi corner with scary stuff. And can make for a good theme park section.
Bowser's Inside Story, and you're like going inside. There's like a giant Bowser, and you're like going down.
That would be cool. Like that one museum where you go inside the heart.
Yeah.
Isn't that the Science and Industry in Chicago?
I think so.
The giant heart. Yeah.
That's the one that has the like all the crazy like separated bodies and stuff, right? Where you can like see the
Oh no,
cross
I've been
sections
to
and the
that one.
organs.
That's a touring exhibit
I was gonna say
called.
that's a different thing.
Well, they had
Body
something like
something.
that
Isn't
at
Body World.
Body
No, they
World,
had
yeah.
something like that at the Museum of Science and Industry, though.
Did they?
No, they were advertising that in Vegas, the Body World thing. But no, I'm pretty sure.
So
one of
that
those.
Body Worlds was at one time at the Museum of Science
Oh,
and Industry. I
okay.
went and saw
It
it there.
was, yeah.
That makes sense. This would have been like in the 90s when I saw it. So.
Yeah, I'm sure that they had other. I remember they having other like body part stuff next to the heart. I just remember the giant heart, and there's also like a mine that you can go into that's underground. Actually, one of my cousins like was an actor on that. Like at whatever did the mine ride at Science and Industry. I remember that. That was kind of cool. But yeah, these yeah, it's kind of like I don't know. Hopefully they happen because I think the Nintendo World for me really isn't that interesting. Like there's like 2 rides maybe. It's like so put some more rides in there so I'll maybe want to go someday. As of right now, it's not that.
If I'm in the
not that
neighborhood, I'll
intriguing.
stop by. But
Yeah.
this one's going to be in the Florida one, which could potentially be cooler because it's the biggest one of them all.
Yeah.
But
If I'm gonna
then you have to go to Florida.
make a trek out to go to any of them, I would go to the Florida one.
Yeah, I mean, but then you have to go to Florida. I don't want to go to Florida.
No, straight to Florida.
I don't ever want to go there ever again. It's a terrible place.
I haven't been to Florida since '88.
I haven't been. I haven't been there since 2015, and I don't want to talk about why I was there.
I've
Moving
been
on.
there since a couple months ago.
Well, I'm sorry for you. Anyway, what's the next thing?
On to this one. So another rumor: Insider Gaming is claiming that 3 more Sega classics are being revived. In addition to the ones that were already announced, they're talking about Panzer Dragoon, Neon Genesis Evangelion, and Sakura Taisen. That they're in early stages of development.
I mean, Neon Genesis Evangelion isn't a Sega thing though. It's an anime.
Yeah, I wonder if did they make a game or back in the day? Did Sega have the license back in the day or something?
I mean, there were Neon Genesis games, but I don't remember who did it. But that's kind of a weird that's kind of a wild project for now. Like I don't know. I guess they did do those. They did do those sequels on Prime. They did those Prime movies or whatever of Evangelion. I don't know.
Well, they remade the whole series like a couple of times now, I think.
Well, they did those sequels to they were sequels. Well, I guess they were whatever requels, whatever you want to call them. But they were sequels. The ones that were on Prime that were basically continuing after End of Ava or whatever like that. They did a whole fucking podcast about it on Axe Blood. God, I listened to it. The multiple ones about Evangelion. But yeah, those Prime ones were basically like let's end it again and try to end it differently because there was like End of Eva, but then there was other stuff that there were various endings that were considered different endings, or I don't know. But there was new stuff. Is what I'm saying.
And along those lines, Gematsu discovered that Sega had filed for a total of 12 trademarks. So in addition to those games, there's some trademarks filed for Alex Kidd, Afterburner, House of the Dead, Outrun, Super Monkey Ball, Altered Beast, Kid Chameleon, and my favorite, Eternal Champions. Yes, bring back Eternal Champions. Give it its due, finally. It was a good game.
Do you think Altered Beast is going to rise from your grave?
Da, 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 da.
I hope so. I like that game. I mean, there's a lot of really good games in there. We already saw a remake of House of the Dead 1 on Switch, so it's not completely dead. It's still kind of floating around,
And don't forget the DS game, Touch the Dead.
Yeah, but that wasn't a Sega game. That had nothing to do with the House of the Dead franchise. That was a whole nother thing.
But it was House of the Dead.
Well, it was a game where you tapped people and they blew up, but it had nothing.
But it was House of the Dead.
But it was not House of the Dead. No, it wasn't a Sega game. It was a completely.
Are you
different...
sure?
Oh yeah, I have it. I own it. I could go find it and show it to you.
Well,
I can just
world
look it
just
up
got
online.
ruined.
No. Touch the Dead is made by like an American company or something. It has nothing to do with House of the Dead. Not that. I mean, American company. I think what Overkill was made by an American company.
Well, I played Typing of the Dead, and I know that was Sega.
Yeah, Typing of the Dead was actually, but this isn't like Touch of the Dead. It's just called Touch the Dead, and it was not made by. It's like, yeah, it's Eidos Interactive.
Oh,
it's not. It has nothing to do with House of the Dead. But
well,
I mean, the idea was
I stand corrected.
you just tap zombies and their heads explode with your stylus.
It's pretty hard, actually.
It is really hard. Yeah, it's a lot harder than it should be from the idea. But I have it. I have a physical copy of it.
A new Outrun could be cool. It would be like Horizon Chase Turbo or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really interested on the Outrun thing, yeah, because, well, there is, I mean, I guess we do have Outrun. Well, we have the Outrun, the regular Outrun arcade game on Switch, and there were sequels to it that were all different things, but yeah, it's like, what would you do with it now? Yeah, you would probably make it more like, because Horizon was heavily influenced by Outrun anyway, so you could just kind of go back and forth in that way.
I don't know. Super Monkey Ball, like, there was a period of time where they were making way too many Super Monkey Ball games, so if they do bring it back, make it super.
Well, I mean, we just got 2 Super Monkey Ball remakes, too, not that long ago. I mean, we got the remake of Banana Blitz, and then we got the remake of Monkey Ball 1 and 2 also. So it's like, I guess you would just make a new one in the style of Monkey Ball 1 and 2 is what I would think you would do next.
Yeah, go back to the basics.
Yeah, make like a 3. Make the 3 that we never saw. Because after 2, you got like the Monkey Ball adventure game that wasn't very good and stuff like that, so.
They need to put Monkey Ball Jr. on the GBA.
Oh, yeah. Well, on Nintendo Switch Online, that would be awesome. I would love to play that on the TV.
Jay mentions at the top of the show, but there's an AI Game Shark successor, which had claimed to know the Switch 2's release date, and then they backtracked.
Yeah, it was kind of just, I threw it in there as an intro, but yeah, it happened at CES. I feel like they're just kind of being like, yeah, they just be like, we'll be out whenever the Switch 2 comes out in September, and they just kind of throw like an actual
They misspoke.
day. And then when they were talked later about it, they're like, oh no, we're just throwing out dates. We don't know anything.
Did we ever talk about the AI Mario at CES? Did we mention that last week?
I don't think we did.
Oh, I saw it. No, we didn't talk about it. Yeah.
What
of early reporting on it made it seem like it was officially Nintendo endorsed, but it was not.
No, it was not.
It was.
It's real shitty. I don't know if you've seen it, Trey.
It's the touch. Shitty. It's the touch the dead of AI Mario's.
It's the touch the dead of AI Mario's.
I don't know what it is. No, really, I didn't look into it, but I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it around.
It was like some company was advertising, I think their AI or whatever, but using Mario. And the setup was essentially what Nintendo typically does at these live events, which was you have a CG Mario on a screen, and then you'd have Charles Martinet in the back, talking and animating the character and whatever. But this thing was a pretty good advertisement for why we need Charles Martinet back in the field.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So he could make it.
The Mario was just like standing there real static, and then the voice was completely off. It was just like some Joe Schmo off the street as Mario. It was pretty bad.
He also, I don't know, the video I saw, just very low energy, not Mario at all. It's like, what would you eat for dinner? I don't know, maybe a sandwich, or I don't know. It's just really I don't know why I don't want to talk to this guy. He's really boring.
What if Mario were heavily medicated? That's pretty much what came out.
Yeah, he's like, I'm tired. Except not.
Yeah, it stands for artificially intoxicated.
Yeah, he's like that. I don't know, like the voice you'd hear in the cartoons, where the voice is not like it at all. It's just some like angry janitor. It's like, hey, what do you want? I ain't say anything to you, kid. Get out of here. I'm not doing the Mario voice. I don't know, something like that.
Don't run in the halls.
We got a couple of game announcements. One is Rocket Knight Adventures Resparked, which, I don't know, do you guys remember the Rocket Knight adventure games? It was a Konami game from back in the day. I think it was on Super Nintendo Genesis.
I remember the name. I remember the character, but I don't think I ever played any of them.
I never played any of them, but cool.
The one after this was kind of funny. I watched the video of it's like a Castlevania knockoff. It's called the Transylvania Adventure of Simon Quest. I was watching it and I was like, oh, this game looks cool. And then it's like, release 2025. And I'm like, why are you even putting this stuff out here? Like, why? They're not even going to be a Switch 1 until 2025, right? I mean, it's kind of funny to announce something like, especially something that looks like an NES game that's like coming out next year. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess, you got to get your funds together or whatever. But I was just like, it looks
really silly.
Yeah, I thought it looked silly and fun, but then it was like 2025, and I'm like, I'll forget about this by the time it comes out.
Oh, you can pet the dog in it.
Yeah.
They made sure of that.
Yeah, but I did think it looked cool, but it's also like, why, I don't know, so far away.
One that's not that far away is Hitman Blood Money, coming out on the 25th of this month.
Yeah, I put that down for you. I mean, what is your excitement level on the new Hitman? And this isn't like Hitman, the one that you played. Like, this is a native one. It's not a cloud game. It's like runs natively on the Switch.
Well, not only that, it's from the, I think, PS3 generation. It's
Yeah.
a remake.
I played it on 360. I do believe.
Okay, so it was that.
So my excitement level is moderate. I love the new Hitman style. Like I look forward to another Hitman in that style. Some days, years down the road. But to go back and be, it's more of a curiosity to me, because the last Hitman game I played before these games was Silent Assassin, Hitman 2 on the GameCube.
Yeah. So it's probably better than that one.
Better than that, but yeah, not quite as good as the ones that I love.
I thought you'd be interested in it just because of your love
for
for Hitman. It's on sale. You can get it for $24.99 now and preload it. It's on sale probably till whenever it releases, which is the 25th.
Yeah, I mean 30 seems like a pretty high price for how old is this game now? 18 years old or something. I would have liked it if it was 20 or something.
We can get it for 24 right now.
Yeah, on sale.
Just $4.99 more on sale. It's not that much difference. I mean, I'm sure they added stuff to it. I'm sure it doesn't look exactly the same as it originally did.
Right.
I'd hope so.
Yeah, I'll get that. And then Eastward Octopia for $6.
I put that on there just because I saw it on the eShop, and it was. I was kind of blown away by how cheap it is. So Eastward was a game that I know Jeremy had pretty high on your list, like whatever year that came out. And Eastward was I played some of it too, but it was a very dark game. And Octopia is basically like this addition to it where you can farm, Stardew Valley or whatever, which seems
I totally forgot about this.
Which seems kind of weird, but I didn't know what it was gonna. I didn't know what it was gonna, what price it was gonna be or whatever. But it's like $6, and I'm like, well, fuck, $6. Like that's great.
I totally thought it was a free download.
Yeah, but it could have been like $30 or $20 or I don't know. Who knows how high they're gonna get into it. But I'm interested to see, how it's like, hey, come back to this game where maybe the main characters died or didn't, and farm with them alive. I don't know. I mean, I didn't beat it, so I don't know. I'm just kind of guessing from what I heard on this.
It was something
podcast.
along those lines. It was kind of like sort of what's implied is that they split up, and then later on she sees the main character, and he's basically just destitute and mentally unstable.
Maybe this is in his mind then. The farm.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe the happy farm is in the mind. But no, it's coming out at the end of the month, and $5.99, super cheap. Check it out.
This next one is really interesting to me. Okay, so it's it's something that I had to wrap my mind around when I heard it. I was like, what? Really? What? Okay. And then, all right. So it's Quake, right? There's a Quake update. Free update, 5 levels. That's not what's so exciting to me. Although that's pretty cool. What's exciting to me, I won't say exciting. What's interesting to me is that this is a prelude to an upcoming game called Slave Zero X.
Well, it's not to an upcoming game. It's to an old game from Dreamcast.
No. Here's what it is. Right? Here's what it is. It's a prelude to an upcoming game called Slave Zero X.
Oh, okay.
And Slave Zero X is a prequel to a game from 1999 that was on the Dreamcast and PC called Slave Zero.
Right.
Which
and
I
it's
had
not
that
even
game.
And it's not even a first-person shooter. Like I looked at it, and it's like a third-person robot game or something, right?
Yeah,
kind of
I'll tell you
robot
about it.
action, whatever.
It's a third-person mech game. So where you're like a giant robot stomping around the city and shooting things, right? Now this game, I had this game back in the day. It was okay. I never thought it was great. I thought it was kind of mediocre. I had some critiques about it. Like I thought that the camera angle being up in the sky was kind of like to its detriment. For a giant robot, any giant robot game, I want a low angle on those robots. I want to feel like those robots are giant. And to me, like that was, I don't know. It was just not a great. It was an okay game. I forgot about it, and then I hear this announcement about Quake having this DLC based on an upcoming game called Slave Zero X, and that rang a bell. And I read into the article, and the article says, "Oh yeah, it is in fact a prequel to an old game called Slave Zero." I was like, "What? What? Okay, so there's a new Slave Zero game coming?" Like I had no idea there was even a fan base for this what I thought was pretty mediocre game back on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, it got a 3.2 out of 10 at IGN. IGN
Wow.
did not care for
Yeah,
it on Dreamcast, so it didn't. I was really like, I saw it and I was like, what the fuck? And the main reason I looked it up is I was like, oh, there's a first person shooter from like '99 that I didn't know about, but then I found out it was a robot game, and I was like, oh well, ho hum. I was more excited about this like some first person shooter that I didn't know about. But I actually have it. I have Quake going behind me right now, and I actually do have it downloading. It's you have to go. So you update your Quake game, but then you have to go into the add-ons on the Quake, and then you have to specifically download the Slave Zero levels to play it. So there's a little extra. It's just not automatically going to show up. But I'm definitely going to play it. I watched some videos of it, and it's basically Quake, but all the guns are different, and the world's different. And it's like in a futuristic looking area, and sure, I'm a sucker for first-person shooters, so I'll definitely play it.
Yeah, I'll try this too, and I'm interested in the sequel, Slave Zero X, just because like the improbability of it. Like, why 25 years later is this mediocre Dreamcast game getting a sequel? I would really love to know.
But is it
how
going to
that
be?
came to be?
Is it going to be like also a Quake mod, or is it a completely separate thing?
No, it's a completely separate game. It's actually a 2D side-scrolling action game.
Oh,
which
weird.
is just another
even weirder
level of mindfuckery, because it's not even a first-person shooter. It's not a third-person shooter.
And it doesn't
it's a completely different genre.
And it doesn't even have anything to do with Quake. Like, why? I guess it's probably just maybe it's just somebody just really excited who loves the Slave Zero lore or whatever, and just made their own Quake mod levels based on that world. It's so bizarre, but I'm glad that it's available for free for people to play. I mean, why not?
I have no idea, but they have me hooked just on the what the fuckery of it all. Like, what is going on? Why did Slave Zero come back 25 years later? This forgotten mediocre Dreamcast game.
Because there's always that person like Jeremy who just keeps talking about like Urban Yeti or whatever. Where there's this like one weird game that you will always hold the candle.
I'm gonna remake.
Hold the candle for, and then eventually you'll do a Urban Yeti prequel on Quake or something weird like that.
Yeah. Actually, it happened. It was called Ape Out.
Yeah. Or you do, or like you make like a Mario Maker level or something like that. It's supposed to be the prequel to a sequel to some weird random Game Boy Advance game or whatever. I don't know. It's like that one game that you just always wished it had a prequel, or you got so excited that it had a prequel. Maybe I think they just like got so excited that it was getting a sequel that they made their own Quake levels, building up to the sequel, prequel, whatever. I mean, I could see myself doing that. If I had more time. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a level on Time Splitter. That I probably did that in Time Splitter 2. I made all sorts of weird levels. I made our chapel from college in that game, and I made a whole story where we got to kill all the teachers. It was fun, but yeah.
Then you have to rescue Kirka's brain or something.
Something like that. Yeah, it was. I think it was Kirka's brain was. Yeah, he had to find, and he had to shoot some other professors on the way. I think I don't think it's. I think my GameCube memory pack got fried, so you can't find it. But it's too bad because I put a lot of time into that level. But yeah, check that out on Quake, Slave Zero X. I'm extra interested in it too. I'm kind of a little interested in whatever that prequel is. Whatever.
Valve has shut down the fan demake Portal 64. That's sad, but do you guys remember that? Someone was demaking Portal for the Nintendo 64.
I don't remember that.
I don't even remember. I never saw it.
Makes sense.
It was cool. I mean, this was going on for a while now. I feel like I last heard about this a year ago, at least. But Valve shut them down, gave them the cease and desist, and the developer's name is James Lambert. He said he urged his fans not to be mad at Valve. Doesn't blame them, like it's their IP. He's pretty level-headed about it all.
They should just hire him.
Yeah, he got a lot of attention. I think he's probably gained something from all this. For me, I always wondered now, like, why does anybody making these kind of things with somebody else's IP ever announce it? Why don't you just like work in your little hole, whatever, until you're done, and then put it out when it's done? I don't know.
I think people just get excited and
they
get carried away and they don't think ahead. Like they don't think they're going to be noticed, probably. So I mean, just to be noticed, to be given that cease and desist is probably a notch,
badge of honor.
Whatever. Yeah, badge of honor. That's what I'm trying to say.
Probably want to show what they made or their progress. And
it's like I can't remember who it was.
one person saw it and tells another person, and then it blows up and they get pulled.
I'm trying to remember which developer that was doing like a. It was a Japanese developer, but he was doing like a Kickstarter for something or GoFundMe or whatever. One of the goals was that he was going to follow you and then block you on Twitter. Or no, he was going to block you on Twitter, and then the other one was he was going to follow you,
right?
And he was going to block
Was
you.
it?
Yeah, that was it.
I'll say, wasn't it the guy from Platinum, the one who
it was. That was
who blocks you anyway? Yeah. Because didn't it have to do with Wonderful 101 or something? I thought that was part of.
It was
of the Wonderful 101 Kickstarter or something like that.
It was. I remember now.
Where he blocked.
But yeah, I mean, getting blocked by a public figure on the internet is like that would be a badge of honor for me, for sure. Of course, I wouldn't want to be too like. I wouldn't want it to be for me being like just insufferable, but
being like obnoxious
for a good
or
reason.
Something. Yeah.
Right. I mean, anyone can be obnoxious. I would rather it be for hurting their feelings because that's punching up is always good.
Jeremy, I thought you might be interested in this, but somebody made a real life inscription board game.
I was interested. I saw that, and I mean, it seems like I think I remember seeing something about that, like being a crowdfunded project at one point too, possibly.
Yeah, I think I saw it somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's really high quality. I mean, the price
of it is
$448. Yeah, but it looks like it's all like carved from wood and whatever. And I don't know, the cards look totally accurate to the game and everything. Looks really cool if you're a huge inscription fan and you want to spend $448 on a board game. The
thing about it is, I wonder how they do the custom cards, because like the custom cards are critical in that. I wonder if they have like blank cards, but you don't want to write on your $448 game set. Maybe they've got like little like color forms or something.
Maybe it's a dry erase thing or something.
Yeah, I want like to be like static clings or something. That'd be cool. Or like a little digital screen.
I tried to get back into that game this week, and I never really got into it since I got it about 3 weeks ago. But basically, when I started the game up first about 3 weeks ago, I had a bunch of other games. I was just sampling every game, just trying to look for a little bit here and there. And now when I went to go play this one again, like to actually sit down and try and play it, like I didn't remember at all what I was doing. So I was trying to figure out how to delete my save file, which I've never on the Switch deleted any save file, on the system. And then Inscription, if you've played it before, you know that like you can't really go. There's no way to actually delete the save file in the game.
No,
like because the interface is that you've essentially found this person's game from years ago. Whatever.
The title page is part of the game. Yeah,
title page is part of the game.
Splash screen or whatever.
When I went on the title page to actually try and delete and reset my data, it just kind of jokingly it was like, you can't do that. You can't do that. It's like, but really, I want to actually delete my save file. So what do I do? Nope, can't do it. So I got to figure out how to delete it so I can start over.
Interesting. Yeah.
You know, if you wanted to, you could always just use a different profile on your system.
Yeah, but then I'd have one odd game that isn't on my profile. I've got two profiles, and
well, you could also play that one up to the point you are in the other game, and then switch back over.
That's a good idea. I might do that.
Yeah,
just as a refresher.
You could do that too. Yeah, I was saying if it won't let you start from the beginning, you could always just do a different profile.
I don't think there's a whole lot that happens in the first hour or so of the game that you couldn't just redo with. I don't think you make any huge decisions that change anything. But I think you're gonna like the sort of meta of the game once you start, because the game just really puts you in the position of being that finding this guy's stuff and you're going through his files, and later on you're going through video files and stuff, and it's really cool.
Yeah,
I guess you saw that the game starts out with him showing that, right? You're just playing the game, yeah.
I thought this was cool of Nintendo. They donated 50 million yen to Japanese earthquake victims, and they promised free repairs on damaged products.
Wow!
Oh, from the earthquake, of their stuff.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That is nice.
Yeah, really nice. I think. Here's the statement from Nintendo. They said, "We would like to express our deepest sympathies to everyone who's affected by the Noto Peninsula earthquake. We will provide free repairs for our products requested by people in areas where the Disaster Relief Act applies in response to the Noto Peninsula earthquake. for a period of 6 months from the application of the Disaster Relief Act in each region. In addition, we will donate 50 million yen through the Japanese Red Cross Society to support those affected by the disaster. That's very cool.
That's cool.
Definitely cool. I know this next one, we'll end with that one, but I want to add a couple things before we go. Dragon Quest Monsters, The Dark Prince, has surpassed 1 million in sales, so hooray. The little game that came out in December that nobody seems to care about, it sold 1 million copies, so good for them. I think it just snuck in and everybody had already done all their coverage, and I felt like it got no coverage whatsoever. I think the only person that's talked about it on any podcast ever is Nadia from Axe of the Blood God. It's just the only one, Will and me, holding the flag for Dragon Quest Monsters, that came out in December. Nobody else said anything about it. But yeah, hooray, 1 million, good. And they had a big update too. They dropped a huge update that tweaked a bunch of stuff and switched a bunch of things around. I looked through the patch notes, and it made it kind of made it easier to catch some monsters and some other stuff. Made some things reset earlier and went through all these things. I was like, oh man, it's gonna feel like playing a whole different game now that they reset all the shit. I saw that on there. Interesting thing too, I guess. I didn't even know this was a thing, but Rock Band, what was it? Harmonix says that they're not doing any more DLC for Rock Band 4. I really thought there was no DLC for Rock Band 4.
I had no idea
years.
They were still.
But I guess they're officially ending it to.
When did Rock Band 4 come out?
I don't know.
2015.
Even. I was going to say, when was Rock Band? But I guess they were still supporting it in some way, but they're ending it to support, Fortnite, whatever it's called, the Fortnite performance or, the
festival.
Festival. That's it.
And they're supposedly you can use your. So I got to find out. It says you can use Rock Band 4 instruments, but I wonder if that means you can use Guitar Hero as well.
Oh, you can use them now? Is what they're saying?
No. Eventually, they're supposed to bring that.
Yeah. They said they were going to update it to use guitar instruments. I don't know if it's specifically Rock Band, but I do have a Rock Band guitar and a Rock Band drum set. But I also have. I was hoping it would just be USB. If you had one that used USB, you could plug it in
or
and
Bluetooth
get it to work like
nice.
that. So because between Jess and I, we have a large collection of plastic instruments. I have a whole closet for it downstairs here, where I put all our plastic instruments. So hopefully I could, wouldn't mind breaking out one of those guitars and playing it. Also, Jess has a great collection of the Guitar Heroes on PS2. All of them, pretty much all of them, all the way up through whatever, pretty much till they were done on PS2. So, but yeah, I'd like to try that whenever that update comes out. I'll get one of those guitars out of there and see if I can get it to work on my Switch. That'd be fun. So that'll be cool. But yeah, we can end it with. Let's end it with Mr. Mitchell here. The rise, the fall, and rise of Billy Mitchell. He's back. He's back, baby. Him in that white suit, never going away.
Reinstated all of Billy Mitchell's world records. So I haven't heard why necessarily. If anybody
did you read what it says here? It says today, January 16th, 2024.
Yeah, this is a statement from Billy.
It says has reinstated all of the video game world records. Well, this is what Billy Mitchell says that I achieved in my career, effective immediately. Twin Galaxies. Here's Twin Galaxies' statement on the website. Reads in this pertinent part. In fair consideration of the expert opinion provided by Dr. Zeta on behalf of Mr. Mitchell and consistent with Twin Galaxies' dedication to the meticulous documentation and preservation of video games score history, Twin Galaxies shall heretofore reinstate all of Mr. Mitchell's scores as part of the official historical database on Twin Galaxies' website. So, and I think I saw Billy Mitchell said something posted on Twitter, and he said now I'm going to go back to ignoring all of you on Twitter or something like that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
The expert opinion of Dr. Zeta. Who's Dr. Zeta?
I don't know. Some person that Billy Mitchell brought in that they
probably
trust. So there you go.
Well, all right. The world keeps on ticking.
So Billy Mitchell back again. Never surrender.
I wonder how Walter Day feels about it.
I don't know. Yeah, hopefully I'll run into him at a convention again, and we can ask him.
I still remember then Billy Mitchell followed me on Twitter.
Was it because we posted about him right after? Because we talked to him for a second.
Yeah, then we were Billy Mitchell got a bum deal. We were using that as a
I was trying to use
hashtag.
Yeah, I was trying to get that. I said Billy Mitchell got a raw deal. That's what I was.
Raw deal. That's right.
Yeah. But we did talk to him. We should have actually recorded him, but we did talk to him.
Yeah, I got a picture of me with him, and his hair looks like a helmet.
Yeah, and he was in that fucking bar, the bar with the beer info in the bathroom.
He's wearing like a white suit. And
yeah,
an
he has
American
white
flag
suit.
tie.
Yeah, he was very.
Yeah.
He's very much a character. Like he was very much Billy Mitchell. Like he's playing him. He's playing himself. Like
I bet he
up
feels
to the
pretty
nines.
happy that the mullet's back in style. Now he's like, he just wrote it out until it came back.
I mean, he's a pretty funny guy. Like we talked to him briefly at the long time ago. We did an episode about Billy Mitchell. Like when Jess and I met him at that arcade fest or whatever in Chicago, and he was pretty cool. He was cracking jokes to us, and we watched his like presentation, which was kind of a total mess. Like I don't even know what he was trying to say about anything. But he seemed like a nice guy, and he was funny and whatever, But yeah, we watched his like panel, and it was just like him kind of rambling for like an hour, and it just like didn't go anywhere. And I'm like, okay, but yeah, no, he like I have my King of Kong poster framed with him and Walter Day's signature on it, and he was pretty nice. He's like I don't want to. He's like I want to sign on my hair. I might mess it up. He's like being all silly and all that, and I don't know. He was nice. He was nice to us. We like took a picture with him and a guy in a Pac-Man suit and all this stupid shit. But yeah, I don't know. I thought he was all right. And what was it? Our friend was a mutual friend of the show, Caitlin. She always said that he was nice. He was nice to her. I don't know. I mean, I heard like a lot of people who know him, knew him well, spoke up for him and said he was
right when he's not playing his character.
He was a good dude.
Well, I mean, he had this big popular movie too, which set him out to be a villain, and I don't know.
Except for when he bought the Mrs. Pac-Man machine for the, or no, it was Cubert. He bought that Cubert machine. For
he did all that nice stuff for the Cubert lady. I remember that. I mean, I don't know. It's he always that was basically he was trying to talk about how he was portrayed wrongly in the movie and all that, but he kind of just rambled a lot. He talked about some other documentary that he did with some other people, and he was trying to play a voice message that they left him on his phone, and it took him like 10 minutes to do that. And I'm like, where is this going? I don't know. It's like it was kind of a mess, but it was kind of fun too to see at the same time. But I think that's that. I think that's unless anybody has anything else to add for the news, I think we're good.
Nope.
Apparently, Dr. Michael Zita was an expert witness at the court trial, and he comes from USC. So there's his credentials.
Oh, okay.
USC? Like, okay.
USC.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
Where he teaches a class on
UFC
documentation.
USC, University of Southern California.
UFC, Urban Fighting Championship.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was like Ultimate Fight, like Ultimate Fighters or whatever.
Yeah, he just came in and said, reinstate his scores, I'll beat your face. And they're like, we respect his expert opinion. We're going to reinstate his scores. Back.
Yeah, he scares us all. So, yes, you have it, Billy Mitchell. All right, and that's been our episode 405. Thanks, everybody, for listening. If you want to hear more of us, go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast, and you can hear our bonus episodes. The one where we talked about the Swan songs is available up there now. So you can listen to that for just $1, and you can listen to the 56 other ones as well for $1. So it's pretty cheap. You get a whole lot of listening time in there if you want to support us in that way. Also, you can watch the Wrestle Chat stream that we do on Monday nights, which we're actually going to do one tonight too, which you can see it on youtube.com/NintenDomain podcast and twitch.tv/NintenDomain podcast. Just look up our name and you'll find it. You can find Jeremy and I on the Twitter at JMaxStack and at Nintendo_domain and all that stuff. We've been your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson.
Jeremy Mikowski.
John Litter.
And thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye. See ya.
because some of them I couldn't even remember what game they were from even, you have to like get down to the base of it to, I don't know.
Yeah.
Saying I didn't
That was
have
the other thing,
didn't have the dedication that you did to go through that much.
Actually made a whole spreadsheet, which
yeah, I'm sure you
when I
did.
shared that
you
with
like
you.
You do like spreadsheets, so it doesn't
I like
surprise me.
spreadsheets. Yeah. I have all the information on there.
You do like spreadsheets. I heard about that on your spreadsheet podcast. You do.
That's true.
Yep.
Excelling with John.
This is I was gonna say this is spreadsheets 101 with John, but excelling that's better.